Our Nollywood A-lister chat is with a star who needs very little introduction. Many credits. Sit back as we get to know more of Yusuf Benjamin. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, welcome.
Now, your acting journey. Could you take us through how it all started?
Wow. How did it begin? Well, just like how you caught me on sets, you understand, on location today, on the job, it's pretty much how it's been for me because I remember back in the day from on Obakran in Ikeja, there used to be a production outfit called Swift Studios, and it was it was run by Lloyd Weaver. And quite a lot of successful industry hands came out of that Swift Studios. I remember, and then I used to live in Anifo Oshe, which is just behind, and they had an exit gate onto Anifo Oshe. So it was easy for me to come into the studios without having to go to Obakran. And so every now and then I would come around to see Lloyd Weaver and, see how things are going. And because there's always this passion to want to do it, and then they were handing a lot of the top-notch TV commercials then, so I used to love to come around, see how it was, been done, and try to audition and stuff and all of that, It was like the journey started from there, from doing TV commercials. And it was from there I met television soapy back in the days, Behind the Clouds, Paul Emema. I met Paul there, and I did the pilot of another television show with him, and I think on that set Julius Ago was on that set, and this was like back in the 90s in that same premises. I know they had an audition for, this was my first movie role. I was an extra. This was in 1995. And of course, it was quite an ensemble. It had the likes of Ramsey had just come out of Fortunes. Fortunes was a hit back in the day then. And of course, from there, things transcended to, I then did, I think, 2 or 3 episodes in Tales by Moonlight. I was part of the people who acted the stories out, and then pushed forward, and then along came Tinsel. This was in 2008, yeah. Along came Tinsel in 2008. I started with them from the season 1, and we pushed forward and pushed and pushed. Then I think I left in season 3, I think, or 4, So from Tinsel, then came Project Fame. And that's how the journey began. Then Project Fame started, and of course, it opened doors to a lot more opportunities, because apart from the mileage my movies were giving me, Project Fame gave me more mileage, because it was a much wider audience and stuff, and also it actually gave rise to a lot more great opportunities. And then the career, of course, everything, this and here, fast forward to where we are today, this is me.
Good morning, sir.
I know all of that and all, but you don't need to, but at least can you teach her how to cook? At least give her your recipe, please.
Why don't you get someone in your own class to make you classical meals? My cooking is for my type. Oh, Monica.
My wildest dreams, Susan. I never imagined you could turn out to be so heartless and...
Enough. I'm not in the mood for any insults or name calling. I'll teach her.
Thank you. Okay, can you, at least for now, come help me ask her what that thing is that she put on the table for me.
With your experience and the number of years you've been in this industry, you're quite qualified to give an overview of the entire industry, the past, the present, and the future. What's your take?
Nollywood, I give credit to an industry like this because it's a self-sustaining industry. You know, it's not an industry before, of course, before any grants came on board and people had, you know, had access to any kind of funding and all, you know, from the government, you know, it's been self-sustaining. And basically, it's an industry of creative minds. People who have decided to break out of the norm and break every form of procedures and say, okay, fine, let us set ourselves on the map. And that's how Nollywood came about. And of course, it's been progressing, of course, from film to stage, and it's actually from stage to film back to stage. It's just been a potpourri of a lot, of course, with the prowess of the likes of the late Herbert Ogunde, you understand, who are the pioneers of what we are today, of what, you know, we're enjoying today. Of course, Eddie Ogboma. These are people who have paved the way for what we see today, which is the evolution of what we are coming from. You know, so we're not where we're supposed to be yet, because there are a lot of structures that are not in place that would necessarily have given rise to a much more glorified industry, as it were, you know. So, but it's not there.
Please marry me.
I have chosen who I'm spending the rest of my life with, and it is not you, Azua. An abomination.
My heart is for someone else.
You have kicked the storm against me. Why?
When I swore to love you, I did not know it would come to this.
You will leave this palace, else I will have your head on a stake.
I want to make her my wife.
Let's talk about the scripts that you've gone through. You've gone through several scripts. Which ones would you say that you'd find most challenging?
I've had quite a few challenging scripts so far in my career. First off, the first was from a movie called Stripped. It's produced by Neville Sajare, Nevada Bridge Productions. I had to be in a wheelchair through the entire course of the movie. And at any point where I went off the wheelchair, I literally had to crawl, you know, so it had to be believable. I didn't have to go understudy people, but of course, through my pool of experience from watching a lot of movies, because when I do watch movies, I watch them to learn. You know, watching a lot of movies, I've seen the traits and things that are very essential in portraying a character like that.
He won 11 gold medals, 16 silver,
Traveled 22 countries.
and qualified to represent Nigeria at the Olympics.
I am he who the ladies run after. I am the champion that I am.
Now, he didn't win all these medals for himself. My brother lived for this country.
So why come here to cry on me, Solidad?
I know that you're upset about everything, but you can at least respect me as your little sister. You're being unfair.
I was okay before you came into my life.
No, you came into my
Oh,
life.
shut up, Soledad, I'll shut you up.
Second was, I think, Tango With Me, which was produced and directed by Mahmoud Ali Balogun. It actually showcased and bordered on a very, very sensitive topic in society today. One people shy away from, one people are not bold enough to speak about, and put me in the spotlight in a sense. So I found myself a victim in a sense, because of course the woman who was my wife, Genevieve Naji, was a victim of rape. And of course, which automatically makes me a victim, because as it were, psychologically we're connected in a sense, being husband and wife. So I found myself in that position, and of course, having to think like the regular and ordinary man. What would you do?
As soon as I heard his voice, I knew why God had brought me here. This was my future.
This was my wife, and I'd never been happier.
I'm watching you.
My patience is running thin.
I'm the one that might be losing my job. What the hell do you know?
As we fall, but it's tearing me apart, you see.
Tango with me, and of course, Rebecca. The first of its kind. I've never read a script like that.
Do you know where we are? Yes, I'm talking to you, Rebecca. Do you know where we are or how far the driver needs to go get help?
The girl doesn't speak or understand English.
So, tell me, what do you think about all this?
Where have you been? And do not walk away whilst I'm still talking to you. Rebecca!
Did you hear that?
Are you trying to get me angry?
You are the actor that we've grown to love. We've fallen in love with your character. Each time you play a role, you always play the goodie, not really bad ones, but you know, we fall in love with you every time we see you on screen. What is the real Joseph Benjamin like?
Joseph Benjamin. I am a regular guy. I am a regular guy who would have a craving for Bolly, and I'll park on the road and buy Bolly. I'm a regular guy who would have a craving for certain regular normal things, and I'll go for them. You know, sometimes people find it difficult to understand, and like, you know, sometimes I see the reactions from people's faces, even if they don't say it, like, oh, this guy, and I smile back at them. At the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm human, right? Yeah, so so I can eat these things, like, you know. So well, that's on a lighter note, you know. But on a more serious note, I'm a regular guy who's loving, and I love God. I love to be a blessing, you know. I just love to put a smile, you know, on people's faces. Leave a very good impression of myself wherever I go. Empower my generation. And make sure that my gift and my talent rubs off positively on my generation and the one to come after me.
I really want to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming through.
Joseph Benjamin, our special guest this week. Join us next week for another loaded show. Until then, I am Kwe Shotari asking you to aim high, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll probably end up with the stars.